Vortex here, welcome to my review of the Tin Hifi T2 Evo. So this is the latest iteration of that kind of line. It has the same kind of shell as the older T2 and I think the T2 Pro models. I think it should be the same kind of shell. And as usual, full disclaimer is this is sent out to me to review from Linsol, so thank you very much for that. I was not paid to do this video and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. And yet, like I said, it's just another iteration of the T2 lineup. It's a bit different to the Plus. Like I said, it has the older kind of shell design. And yeah, let's just see what's in the box. So it's got the same kind of packaging as the older ones, Evo. So an evolution, shall we say, of the older ones. This should be a single dynamic driver, where the older original T2 is like a double dynamic driver unit or 2 DDs. So not much to say here, just QR codes for information. Let's get into it. I no longer own my T2, which is a shame, because if I knew there was going to be another revision, I might have kept it for a kind of comparison. So let's, here we are. Look at them in a bit. So there's a pouch, kind of suede, not too bad. Cable here. Now one thing to note on like my older one, my original T2, is you can wear them cable up or cable down. This is you only can wear them up. So there's an ear hook system, but the cable looks okay. I'll have a look at that in a bit. A bunch of silicone tips, foam tips. Listening the world. Paperwork there. And yeah, on to what we're actually here for. So yeah, I don't remember that being on the older ones. Maybe that's a new edition, I'm not quite sure. But it's good to see there's red there, there's a vent there, red there. Blue and blue. So yeah, I haven't seen that before. Little lip on the nozzle to keep it on. Very, very light design. If I can get it back on. Trying to look through a camera and put a tip on. I'll leave it off. It's too difficult, but yeah, so that's what they look like. No letters, so just colours only, I think. And yeah, that's it. So in the next clip, I'll just open up the actual cable to see what it's actually like. So that's how they fit into ears like that. And yeah, I'll open the actual cable up. So in many essences, it's basically the same cable as before, but it's a bit different. So straight 3.5, metal, strain relief. This seems the same material as the original, which I got rid of probably over 12 months ago. Wise split, chin slider, which works a little bit, but again, that doesn't really bother me. The ends. So that's one thing on the older cables you don't get, which is the actual ear hook, which ends there where my thumb is. Actually says L. It's a shame they went back to MMCX, and obviously that one's red right. And that's it. So you can just see from further away, that's what they look like. And yeah, so through the power of time, I'm going to put a few hours on the T2s, the T2 Evo, see what they're like, and yeah, and you'll see me in a few seconds in the next clip. So guys and gals, finally onto the review. Obviously I've shown you in the unboxing part before this, obviously the blue one is left. I do like that, it's kind of subtle. So obviously blue's left, red's for right. And, oops, if it focuses. So yeah, comfort. Comfort is the same as the OG T2 I tried a couple of years ago. Same thing, the cylinder type of shape. They call it the tank shape, which is kind of weird, but I thought it was okay. It may or may not be better for you. But with the original T2, so this is the left one, you can wear the cable up or down, but the cable that comes with this, as I've shown you in the unboxing, has ear hooks. So this is the left one. Obviously the cable will, so you're facing that way, the cable runs around that way, and that's fine. But with the OG cable, the one I had, it didn't have an ear hook. So if you wanted to use them cable down, you could use this one in your right ear. So it'd sit like that, and then that's how it works. But unfortunately you can't do that. Comfort was okay. Again, isolation was okay. Sensitivity and powering them, again, was fine, no real issues. Now the problem is sound, and the magnets are actually quite strong, as you can see. Sound, I don't know why they call them Evo or Evolution, I presume for short. The tuning isn't very good. Anyway, I'm going to show you now the graph of them that I've done, and also I think Superstars graphed them as well. Now as you can see, there's basically no low end, and there's sub bass roll off, which is kind of the opposite what I want. I personally want a bit more mid bass and sub bass. Well, preferably more sub bass. Obviously the treble's not looking good, but we'll get to that in a bit. Obviously it's a flat line straight into the mids basically in it, and then there's a little elevation, then there's another dip, and then it goes into the upper treble. Vocals are nothing amazing on these. Normally they do rise a bit more into the actual mids, but because it's such kind of like flat, basically it's flat tuning. Now this may or may not be a positive for you, but for general music listening, you don't want this. Well, for my library anyway. Yeah, so it does. Obviously you can see it rise a bit into the mids, upper mids, which is fine, but for some reason it dips and then massively shoots up in the treble. So what these are on the whole are extremely bass light and extremely fatiguing and bright, which is the opposite of what I prefer. And then there's obviously the Pika and 8K is obviously resonance from the couple I use and a few people use. So yeah, you probably won't. I won't go into the sound too much, but as you can see, far too much treble beyond 3K and up to maybe 7 and 8. You want that less, really. So it's got too much treble in that region and not enough, basically, a low frequency. So on the whole, this just sounds something that's really lean sounding and overly bright sounding. Not in a good way, unfortunately. Now, I'm not sure why it was tuned like that. I don't know. It may help if you have hearing loss or anything like that. An extra treble may be a benefit for you. But I don't know why it's so bright sounding with so low, such a lack of low frequencies. I don't know. This tuning isn't really for me. It may suit you or may not. But for music listening, I didn't really like it at all. Positives, obviously, I've just said all the negatives. Positives, obviously, it's a very detailed sound, and it only uses a single DD. It's a 10mm dynamic. I can't remember the type it's in there, but it's a 10mm dynamic driver. And yeah, as you can see, the tunings are quite off, to say the least. But yeah, realistically, you want more low end and then more of that. Less of the treble beyond 3K. It peaks in sibilance kind of area, which can be around 5, obviously depending on the recording and your ears and the hearing and things like that, but it's not the desired tuning at all really. But it is a very detailed sound. This may benefit you in certain circumstances, but I think for general music use, it won't really fit many genres, which is a bit of a shame. I don't really recommend these, but that graph, as you can see, it may suit your preferences, or you might suit your use case, maybe if it's for your job or anything like that. I don't know. I'm not really keen on this. It's not my cup of tea, shall we say. But yeah, if it's for my preference, the T2 Plus, which is obviously a completely different shell, is more to my tuning. It's a smoother tune on this, which is obviously it's got a bit more bass, and it's a smoother basically everywhere really. The T2, so out of the pick between this and the Plus is what I'd pick. Or even the original T2, the one with the dual DDs. But yeah, as you can see, the graph, it's not very good. If you can read frequency graphs, that is. But yeah, everything just sounds kind of artificially bright, is kind of the best way to describe it, and it's very fatiguing, which is a shame really. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure why Tin decided to do this, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I won't really go into anything else, as the graph shows it all, which is a bit of a pity. But instrument separation was okay. Well, the instrument separation was actually pretty good, but again, the overly bright sound is not my kind of pick, but it might suit you for what you need. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks for watching and take care.